Good morning, everybody. I see StreamYard slow getting everybody piled in this morning, but welcome to Tarot with an Attitude. I am your host, the Reverend Rob Lee. Glad to see people coming in. For those people coming in on the Facebook channel, make sure you click Allow StreamYard to see who you are so we can see your lovely faces and see your name. Good morning, Miss Christina. So other people coming in, I see we're getting some things going as promised. We have a great guest today for everybody wanting to start to figure out and learn about. They're all coming in. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Glad to see everybody. Hey, Bruce is waving. So, without further ado, we are going to bring in. Remember, I showed y'all my deck. Love this deck. The Arc Animal and Tarot and Oracle deck, channeled and created by Miss Bernadette Carter King. Bernadette, welcome to our show.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
one of the things I always do is we get things started. We're what we call the barefoot bangarang tribe. Okay, we're trying to get people to get back to their childhood, lighten up from the movie Hook, Bangarang. So everybody, we're going to start how I normally start. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, spirits, guides, angels, universe, wrap your arms around us, give us the messages you want today, and make sure that we're receiving them in the right heart attitude. So mote it be. Bangarang, everybody. Bangarang, paddle on, get your wings on, we're going to fly. A lot of y'all have been asking me about building a tarot deck, which I have not done. I'm really interested in this process. And then, boom, Bernadette. So somebody manifested this into our life. Might have been Bruce, but Bernadette King is here, and so we're just going to get started. Bernadette, how do you even begin to wrap your mind around? I mean, that's like 78 definitions, all different cards. Where did that thought process even start from?
That's a really good question because I had not really intended to ever do a tarot or oracle deck. And I had a dream one night and about making it. And then I got up in the morning and I started to walk down my hallway, and all of a sudden, just like you get visions in a reading, because my background is I'm an evidential psychic medium. That's how I got my start. And I do flip tarot cards and I love them, but the core of my practice has always been mediumship. So my living room just filled with like hundreds of different animals. And I looked and I said, "Good morning, what's going on?" And they said, so I was called to start my website, whatismyspiritanimal.com, about 4 years after I started buildingbeautifulsouls.com. And I was called to do those as well. And today they get over 1 million visits a month between the two sites. And so they said, "Listen, we need you to make a spirit animal tarot deck." And I said, "Okay," with all my extra time, and I'm not an artist. So they said, "Well, we'll find you the artist. Just if you want to take on the job, take on the job." So I looked for about a year for an artist, and just it never worked out. Either the artist wanted like what I considered exorbitant money to do the artwork. They didn't understand the metaphysical space. Long story short, was the longer it took me to find an artist, the more visions that the animal spirit guides kept sending me about what this deck really was intended for. Okay. And what that is the intention of the deck is to increase the human connection to the natural world, and in particular for animals, because for my whole life I've been an animal advocate. And so I mean like an animal advocate. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes better sense. And the more the seed was planted, again, the more the visions came about what this deck would accomplish and what it would do and what it needed to look like. And eventually the artist and I intersected, and it took us 2.5 years to make this deck. So I, not being an artist myself, I am an art director. Who knew? And so between she and I, I looked at over probably 50,000 images of animals and waited for the right one to tell me, okay, I am this card, use me this way. And that's really how it all came to be. Now, when you are, there's the metaphysical side of me, but I'm also a business person, and I've owned my own business for many, many years. So of course, while we were doing this, I was looking into the viability of, well, do I send this deck to a major publisher, or do I go ahead and self-publish? And I knew the money to self-publish would be, it would be sizable.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I've never done a Kickstarter before. And so I asked the guides, I was like, look, do I self-publish or do I go after a publisher? What do I do? And I can't even begin to tell you the resounding publish it yourself. The message was one of the more clear messages I've ever gotten, one of the biggest messages. So I thought, well, I'm probably going to need to run a Kickstarter. So I read up on Kickstarter. I was very fortunate that over the years I'd grown a pretty sizable audience through my newsletters, and I put it out, the artwork about the deck. That's cool. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so glad that you do that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Sanda. How do you say that person's name? Sandalphone 9?
Sandalphon is how I would say it.
Sandalphone. There we go.
Sandalphon 9.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So anyway, fortunately, we raised almost $50,000 on Kickstarter to get the deck launched. And from there, I was like, well, I can just market it to my audience, but there's a whole world out there. So I submitted the artwork to New Leaf, which is one of the major distributors here in the United States. They snapped it up right away. They've been really amazing to me. They are connected with stores and, all around the country, that kind of thing. And then about 5 months ago, I secured myself European distribution. And I distribute through Deep Books London, which is the biggest distributor of Mind, Body, Spirit, in Europe. And I just got a connection to distribute in Australia. So that's kind of how that's working. But in the meantime, what happened was I'm not a competition person. I don't like entering them. They remind me of beauty pageants from high school, which I knew I was never going to win. So I'm a little bitter, right? I'm a little bitter. But
I know the feeling. We're good there. We're good there.
But I was told to enter the ARC in the very prestigious, the Coalition of Visionary Retailers Awards that come around each year. And then also the International Tarot Foundation, they do their Carta Awards. So I entered it, and the ARC made history. It won the Product of the Year in cover, Tarot Deck of the Year, the website, What is My Spirit Animal, Unseated. There was a winner, a music website that does like sacred sound, and they'd won for like 6 or 7 years in a row for like blog, tech, whatever that category is. And so, hey, Bruce, thank you. Next for me is my book. Anyway, long story short, it just swept all the top awards, and we're the first deck to do that. So here's why I mentioned that. Because if you're wanting to start your own tarot deck, be very clear about why you're doing it. And the reason that I say that is, if you're very clear why you're doing it, and that happens to be for an altruistic reason, I'm telling you, the kookiest things will happen. That right when you're biting your nails, like, oh my God, how am I going to make this happen? You tap in and a feeling comes over you, and you just kind of go with that flow, and it unfolds and the magic. And we're accomplishing what we sought out to do. The emails that I get and the Facebook messages and the communications that, people flipped a card, like the pangolin card, it's one of the 5s, and pangolin are the most trafficked animals in the world. They were almost driven to extinction. The world rallied behind them. They're coming back. And because these people, what that pangolin card meant for them personally in that reading, they donated to a charity that works to save the pangolin. And so that's how the whole thing is going. And I don't ever talk about what, like how I support animal charities and whatnot, but this time on my Kickstarter for my new book, because this new book came to me just like the deck did. I was like, why the book and the deck is 372 pages with 149 animals. Come on now. Why does the world need another book? But the Animal Spirit said, because you need to double that number. I was like, 300 animals in a book? Do you know how big that book is going to be? And they were like, yeah. So it's a 700-page book. It's enormous. It's very easy to, strangely, it's very easy to carry, and it's not too cumbersome. There's another book that I compare it to that's a book about names. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a 700-page book. We can do that. And it's got 300 animals. There are tons of ways in there to work with the animal medicine, so on and so forth. And then I was told to also create, through this Kickstarter, when we reach our stretch goals financially, it'll unlock a 35 animal book, which is 35 domestic cats, and then another book which is 35 domestic dogs. And so totally, this book will have available to people 370 animals with really in-depth descriptions. And I don't talk about what I do for animals, but I was told to tell people, look, tell them you're going to pledge this amount of the profits to animal charities that prevent cruelty to animals. And April is Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Month. So that's why I was told to run the Kickstarter through then. And when I say I was told, I really mean it. It's, I'm not a puppet. Okay. I don't do it. But when the animal allies come to me, they really mean it. And they're not, they mean it. So I just kind of follow it. So that's kind of the whole story in a nutshell. And I'm always really encouraged to keep doing the work, because people that love animals are, they're some of the most beautiful people in the world, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me show people, because ironically enough, and I think it's through your deck and another deck that I use, people are starting to ask a lot of questions about power animals and the difference between spirit animals, totem animals, power animals. So folks, your questions, this is the time, start popping them in there. Doesn't have to be about tarot decks. Ask about the animals, the different, your spirit animals, things like that. I've got Bernadette's deck right here, open, ready to go. I'm sure she's got something open, ready to go. But I want to show you real quick this the book that she was able to show me. And we're going to go here. This is it. Let me get it on a bigger screen. We'll come off there for a while. All right. Spirit, totem, and power animals. The complete book of animal spirit guides. Bernadette King, best-selling award-winning author and creator of the ARC Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. This is the book you need to look for. This is the book that's going to help you with all those questions that we have been talking about and things that are happening. So I want everybody to make sure that you're checking that out because there's a lot of your questions that are answered. Okay. So anybody got any? Let's see what we go. Here we are. Oh, some things are piling in. So let me see here. Places that raise animals for food need to be reformed. I feel, let me see. Wow, I must get that book. And absolutely. How do you know what your spirit animal is? I love animals. That's a common question I get all the time.
Every day. I get it all day, every day. Thanks, Debbie. That's a really, really good question. So when I was downloaded with the information for the ARC deck, I was also downloaded with a completely new way of working with spirit, totem, and power animals. And the reason for that is the phrases spirit animal, power animal, totem animal are interchangeable depending on what culture you're getting the definition of that term from. But it gets really confusing for people. And it was confusing for me as well. And up till when I started doing my thing, the definitive person, the voice in the spirit animal space was Ted Andrews, who just an amazing guy who passed way too soon, about 13 years ago. And they asked, the Animal Allies asked me to bring the work to a little more current of a place. And so what was downloaded into me was, even though all of these terms are interchangeable, really, if you think of a spirit animal as the animal that just keeps appearing to you and appearing to you and appearing to you, that's your spirit animal, which will come to you in your time of need. It will support you. It will inspire you. It will help heal you. And you might hear songs constantly. You might see pictures constantly. You might see, people might mention it constantly. That's a spirit animal. Your totem animal is who you are, which starts with your zodiac sign in all the different, whether it's Western, Celtic, Native American, Mayan, the Indian, you get it. And then through your life, you can have totems that you identify with. Like my whole life has been bear. And before I knew anything about metaphysics, my name Bernadette, I knew when I just started looking into symbolism, that kind of thing, my name Bernadette is the feminine French of Bernard, which translated specifically means brave bear. Who knew? And I'd always loved bears since I was a kid. Yeah, it was really crazy. And then your power animal is the animal that you call in, you invoke from inside of yourself, because we are all connected. You are every animal, and every animal is you. Okay. So if you need the strength of a lion, if you need to stay quiet and still like a praying mantis. If you get it, but you invoke that animal's medicine and energy from inside of you. So how you know your spirit animal, that can be a variety of ways. You can do a meditation and ask that the spirit animal come to you. This past weekend, I do a thing every Sunday called the Sunday Ceremony, the Benediction. And this past weekend, we did a guided meditation to connect you with your spirit animal in past lives. So either the animal that has come to you from past lives or the animals that you were in past lives. And you can do that. You can, for those of you that practice lucid dreaming, you can dream your animal, or you can just open your heart chakra and send out the prayer, send out the message to just have your animal guide or your spirit animal make itself known to you in a really obvious way. And you can even set a specific intent, like, I need to understand what's happening with my health. I need to understand what's happening with my finances, with my relationships, all that kind of thing. So there's any number of ways that they can show up.
And so it's so important. I've been trying to tell people, a lot of people, I think you might see it too. They pop in and want us to tell them who their spirit animal is. And a lot of times they have this ability right within their own grasp. And that's my thing, is trying to get people to slow down. Take 20 minutes a day to connect with spirit, connect with the universe, and you can find these things out for yourself. You know more about yourself, your animals, your guides, than what you know. And I'm glad to hear you say that, because meditation is so important. And it doesn't have to be all kooky and wacky. It's just called being quiet, being still, let things speak to you. So like Engage, I'm glad you asked this question. Engage wants to know, what do you sense as his power animal?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I didn't know I was going to do readings this morning, and I was not in that space, but if you give me a second, I'll pull my deck.
That's fine. And remember, again, what I describe as a power animal while Bernadette's getting ready. The power animal is an animal that presents itself to you to say, right now at this moment, you need these. That's not your power animal, and your spirit animal are two different things to me. The power animal is saying right now, you need the strength of the tiger. Okay.
Right.
Whatever's going on in your life, you need that strength. Draw on the strength of the tiger.
Right. So what I did was I just grabbed my deck, because the animals are always ready, even if I'm not.
There you go.
I just grabbed my deck, all 149 cards, and I was shuffling, and Tiger popped out. So as I step into the energy of this, I'm really drawn to the word loyalty in this card, and it's the King of Wands. And I feel like you're on the watch for something. That there's a subject going on in your life right now that has to do with loyalty. And I think you're deciding who you want to stay loyal to, who you want to stay engaged with, so on and so forth. So I hope that's helpful. Look up anything tiger related, and there's where you're going to find your answer.
I am a tiger. That's mine. I know that. Lot of interesting things about the tiger. It's not all. It's a very graceful creature. Jenny Cook, I believe my Pomeranian terrier is my spirit guide, or definitely a protector of my soul. Some may say she's my familiar. Could this be so?
Hey, Jenny, that's a great question. And I do include a blurb about familiars in everything I do. And so, yes, she could be your familiar, certainly. And yes, she could be your spirit guide, certainly. The thing is that when you go to the traditional definition of familiar, it's an animal that you control, that people in the Wiccan witch space, send out to do their bidding. Now, if you do that, if you send her, if that's the relationship you have, and you send her spirit out to do your bidding, then by classic definition, she's your familiar. If you don't go by classic definition, she certainly can be your familiar, your power animal, and your spirit animal. I don't get the gut that she's your totem animal, but in the other ways, certainly. And let me tell you, a Palm Terrier, they can protect it just as well as a German Shepherd can, in their own inimitable way. So
they have that spirit. They have,
yes, they do. They're
think they're, 6 foot tall or 10 feet tall and bulletproof,
Yep.
So, we got a lot of people weighing in here. Debbie Taurus, Bridget, the dragonfly. Bridget, Bridget is very close to me. Bruce is very close to me. The dragonfly is always talking to Bridget, and you can I don't care when it is. You could pretty well bet there's going to be a dragonfly coming around somewhere whenever you're around Bridget. That's really cool. I choose Bernadette as my confirmation name.
Oh,
Check that out.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
So now you know your name means brave bear. So you may have a lot of bear energy running around you.
Right. And you know what? I asked my ex-wife and she said my name meant asshole. I don't know why, but it's one of those things. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. So, that's when you were in Catholic school. I got it. Bernadette, can you speak to Sasquatch as a spirit power animal?
Yes. And I will tell you why. Let me tell you something. I get a lot of flack for this, but I'm a triple Scorpio, so I don't care.
Okay.
I get a lot of flack for this, but here's
you and my wife would just hit it off huge.
So if you study metaphysics, okay, then you might come to understand that there is the great theory that thought forms become real. They are living things. And once one person focuses or dreams of or creates something, that's why it's so important to pay very close attention to your thoughts, very close attention to what you say. That's why they call it spelling, because you cast a spell with your words. If you think of it, then it is. And so many people have been focused on Sasquatch, Yeti, the abominable snowman, all of that. It is a real thing. That's why I include fictional and mythological creatures in my book and in my deck as spirit, totem, and power animals. Now, here's the other thing I absolutely believe. Humans can be spirit, totem, and power animals. And oh my gosh, the debate rages. But here's what I will say. It's science. We are classified as animals. How can we possibly be classified as animals and not be able to be spirit guides? That makes no sense to me. No sense whatsoever. It's not logical. So my relationship with the animals is very much based in pragmatism, even though we're talking about psychic things. But I study the likes of Dr. Dean Radin, Greg Braden, other people that have come and gone before them and that will come after them, who study all of these connections and all of these things, scientifically, like with very credible scientific studies. And so I know that everybody is capable of the work that I do, of the work that you do, Mr. Tarot with an attitude. And that's how animals communicate, is telepathically.
Yep.
So why don't we all understand that we are naturally hardwired to do telepathic work?
And that's one of the things I try to tell people all the time, is I'm glad to hear you saying it. We are connected. We have this massive connection that is free to us and available to us. Just a lot of people can't get out of that logical mind to connect to it. Thus our Bangarang spirit tribe, find the magic. Go ahead.
May I tell a quick story?
Sure.
Okay, speaking of mythological and fantasy creatures. So I was going through a divorce 3 years ago. And, no divorce is fun. And all of a sudden, unicorns kept appearing to me everywhere. And, it made me mad. I was like, really? Really, spirit animals? Really? You're going to send me a unicorn like I'm 9 years old? And I just kept seeing them. So I just kept shutting it out. Long story short, it happened that the house that I bought is right behind a community where I live called Forest of the Unicorn.
Wow.
No joke. And there's a whole story that leads up to that. But the bottom line is what a mystical creature, a mythological creature was trying to tell me was, not only are you going to be okay, but we're going to gift you, because the house that I bought, it's perfect for me in every way. It's in the perfect location. It was perfect based on what Spirit knew were events that were going to unfold in the next 3 years. And if I just look at it from a business perspective, my house has appraised $40,000 since the day I bought it 3 years ago. And it's just gonna go up in this next 2 years even more. Now, do I care about that? Yes, if I ever move or whatever. But for the now, it's just another illustration of how the animal spirits will come for you and stay with you and be by your side no matter how much you poo-poo them away. They're very stalwart and they will stay. And if I could tell you the unicorn stories, we'd be here till next week. It was unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable.
I hear you. And that is what I keep telling people, that spirit is trying to talk to you in so many ways. They want to talk. They
Right.
want that connection. So take some time. Christina's asking, what is your favorite card? We all know you have one.
I do have a favorite one, and it's the Sun card, and it's this. Just let me here. I'm going to look down for a minute because I'm going to try to find it here real quick.
Okay. Well, I've got your book handy too, so
yeah,
maybe I can.
The Sun card is the sweetest little yellow duck, and it's just the happiest card ever. It just will make you feel warm and squishy inside. Go ahead,
Here,
Rob.
I got it in the book.
Yeah.
It is awesome. Now with my green screen, there we go.
Yep.
The Peking duck. All right.
Yeah.
And it's just fabulous. It's awesome. I mean, you get the whole Easter vibe, you get the whole spring, everything's coming, everything out of that card. It is
well,
awesome.
And if you look at the duck and if you look at the animals in the cards, if you look at that duck, the way he's got his head tilted, it's very much like the baby in the traditional Rider-Waite card. The hands are out and the head is twisted and there's just this big smile and it's all this explosion of, beautiful, solar plexus chakra yellow and the sunflowers, which are very, very symbolic of psychic work and all that. It's my favorite card. So.
Good. That's nice to know. And what's cool is I'm glad you mentioned the importance of the artwork, because in helping people learning to read tarot, I tell them, if you know the numerology and the suits, you've got a good base in. But the importance of being able to do an actual intuitive reading is to be able to be still and let that artwork speak to you, because it may take you on a complete different journey.
Yep, exactly.
So just, absorb that card, absorb that artwork, different things like that. So great question, Christina. Cheryl, can you have two spirit animals at the same time? Yeah, we're both. I am constantly have dreams of hippos and alligators interacting in a spring. Okay,
Wow.
That's too much hungry hippos as a child. All right. No, I'm only kidding. But that's, we all have that. But if you're having that constantly, they're trying to tell you, they're trying to talk. Through my 20-minute challenge, it's still, listen, there's a message coming in, and we're going to see what that is. Bernadette, what do you think about that?
Oh, you absolutely can have more than two spirit animals. It happens all the time. And spirit animals change over your lifetime. What you need today, working with the animal allies may not be what you need next week or next year. And so they do come and go. If you predicate your relationship with the spirit totem and power animal world on the process that was downloaded into me, which is your spirit animal comes to you in your hour of need. And just like with me, when I look back on it, I didn't even bother to ask the animal spirit guides to help me through this divorce time and the move and all of this. I guess because I just assume, I just kind of live in that space. I assume that they're going to do that, and generally they do. Well, actually, always they do. But people cannot even know that their own spirit is crying out for help. You may not do it consciously, but subconsciously you can bet. And that's why they keep coming and coming. So yeah, you can have more than one, more than two. Some people have 10. Some people have them lined up, one for every day of the week. So
absolutely. And that's what's beautiful about it. Same thing with any spirit guides. We're not limited to one. They're not, different things. Angels come and go. We do have guardian angels, but we have angels that come in and bring us different things at different times and times of need. Avenging Scapegoat. I pulled a card for him the other day using your deck, and his power animal came up as the moose for this week that he needed to really draw on. But he's wanting to know what you feel his spirit animal is.
Well, it's interesting. Certainly psychics are nothing if not, they notice all the details. So of course I'm looking at your handle, which is Avenging Scapegoat. And then, your power animal is a moose. And I'm thinking, like in my head, I'm thinking, wow, that's a really, raw kind of person. But when I step into your energy, I feel that you are extremely sensitive and gentle. And so I am looking or it might just be that you're going through a time that's making you feel very vulnerable, and really amping your sensitivity up. And I keep being called to birds of all kinds. Which bird, I'm not 100%. Not true. Not true. I'm seeing a hawk. And so, that's a predator, it's a prey bird, right? But they're not always that way. And then really, when you boil it down to brass tacks, it's a bird. And no matter how fierce a bird may be, unless you're talking like a cassowary who can stomp you to death, you're looking at a very fragile creature. And I do feel very strongly that you are a blend of, like, I can be fierce if I need to be, but really I do that to kind of hide inside how fragile I am. And so you don't have to hide that anymore. Understand that in fragility, in vulnerability, comes some of your greatest power. So there you go. I hope that resonates with you.
There you go. And Mystic Mimi, can we meditate? You missed it. To find out spirit or totem animal. Absolutely. It's the best way. Once you connect and you find this, that connection, once you get everything lined up or whatnot, and you start listening to these messages, you will see more and more and more of them. They want that communication. So yes, we highly suggest that. Let me see here. I'm going through. Yes, I believe that. I wanted a black kitten, and 2 weeks later, one showed up at my home. I was in heaven. Yay, I'll bet. So I think cats understand me. In 2019, I asked some strays if they wanted to be my familiar. A few days later, a dying kitten appeared at my house. He's better now. I saved him. Seems like he understands me. You know what? There's a lot of power that we can draw from our pets, our animals, those things, but we don't even have to possess them. Animals have the spirit that they want to give you. Go to the zoo, even then, and zoos I was never so glad as when they banned circuses, things like that. But sometimes, put your support in behind natural zoos, the ones that are trying to have a purpose, not just make a buck. So Melinda Matney, now I'm curious about my spirit animal. Let's see what we've got for Melinda. I mean, let's go from there.
Hey, Rob, you want to have some fun? Why don't you draw a card and I'll draw a card and see what happens.
All right. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw from the, I don't mix them because I like to be able to do different things. So I've got my, that would be a good question from me to you. Do you keep your Oracle section mixed in with your tarot section?
Yep, and
that's what I've been called to do, and my anal side on the, I was like going, yeah, don't do that. You may need to grab them, but I was really feeling that, so I'm glad to hear that.
I do that, and I also do reversals as well.
Yes, I do reversals. I firmly believe in reversals. It brings on a whole different meaning. So what I'm seeing with Bernadette is the shark, Melinda, and what I got is the rabbit. Okay.
Let me tell you why that's funny. Because psychically, when I step into your energy, Melinda, the first thing I that I got was, she's got to learn how to be less, not passive aggressive so much, but kind of like that, where you need to be an apex predator. You've got to start stepping up and asking for what you want, and being very clear with your words, and knowing that it's okay for you to say what you mean. And rabbits, they run and they hide, right? Now they're smart. They have evolved to keep their species going, because they and mice and rats are the biggest food source for all other woodland creatures. Sad but true. And so both of them have evolved over time. They have enormous litters of babies, and they have these elaborate systems that, tunnels and all of this kind of thing. There might be 50 ways in and 50 ways out to a tunnel for a rabbit.
Right.
And rats can hide in plain sight. They're the most amazing thing. So that's why I think it's really funny. Rob's got Where You Are Now. The card that I'm saying you should work with is the devil. Now, the devil card tends to scare people but it shouldn't, because it's just about releasing yourself from bondage. And that's that whole passive aggressive thing, where it's important for you to step up and speak your truth and be very clear. And then you won't find yourself in so many, quagmires of communication. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And what I'm seeing too, Melinda, you have a knack of bringing things together, of getting things going, of making things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get them going, and what I'm really getting is sometimes you get frustrated because you get a good project going and somebody takes your idea, or you feel like you're always getting it going, but you never get the credit. That's the shark predator saying, you've got this, but it's time to start standing your ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's where I think that's a perfect, I'm right there with you. So that's cool. That's cool. Bridget, what are you doing to me here? Fatness. Okay. That's
Thanks,
one of
Bridget.
her cats. That's one of her cats. So let me see. What do you sense about my energy? Debbie, one of the things, again, people need to understand is, what do you want your energy to be? What do you sense about your energy? But what I'm getting is, here, I'll just yank a card real quick. Let's do the same thing. I'll yank one, you yank one.
Sure, but wait, before you do that, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Debbie, do you have a question in mind, or are you just challenging us to see if we're right? Because I don't play that game.
Thank you. Okay.
I don't do that. If you have a question, I am absolutely here to give you a free reading. If what you're trying to do is check and see, are we right? I'm not interested. So do you have a question?
Yeah. And that, thank you for that. Thank you so much, because it gets tiring of being challenged or whatnot.
It doesn't.
And again, I tell people all the time, you want to support the show, you want to do some things, we need you to reach out, do a booking, subscribe to the YouTube channels. Bernadette, do you have your own YouTube channel?
I do.
What is it under? What's
My
the name?
spirit animal. My spirit animal.
My Spirit Animal.
Yeah.
Go to Bernadette's YouTube channel and subscribe to it. Go to my Tarot with an Attitude YouTube channel and subscribe to it. We're broadcasting on 4 different channels, Bernadette. I think I might have told you that. I don't know.
That's
2
awesome.
of which have over 15 or 16,000 combined subscribers.
Excellent.
And one of the things I tell people is, you miss content if you're only staying on the big channels. Go find our own private channels. You're going to get stuff from Bernadette that you're not going to get outside of here, and different things like that. Also, the Facebook groups. I have a Facebook group, Tarot with an Attitude. It's private. You got to ask to join. Make sure you answer the questions, because if you don't take time to answer the questions, just like Bernadette was saying, we want to make sure you're maintaining the group integrity the way we're looking for. Bernadette, do you have a Facebook?
No, I'm an independent. So I have my own forums, gatheringofmystics.com. And it's an amazing group of people that are really trying to learn, really asking real questions. They're there to go deeper into their own spiritual work. They're there to learn how to become more connected and tapped in readers of all kinds: tarot, psychic, medium, working with spirit, totem, and power animals. It's a pretty amazing place. So gatheringofmystics.com, it's free to register, and it's a very safe place that is moderated. So the only shenanigans there are the fun kind.
There we go. Gatheringofmystics.com. Want to make sure everybody gets that. Where you can reach me is tarotwithanattitude.com. So we can go there or whatnot. If you want to reach out and you're trying to figure something out, let us know. Tammy Sprinkle, good morning. Always good to have me a little Tammy Sprinkle in the house. Glad to see you here. Wonderful spirit, different things. And Debbie, don't be afraid to put your question in down below. We're going to have, I'll pop down and see if you answered Bernadette's question. So, all right, here we go. Tammy, I'd love to know what my spirit animal is. I like the double pull thing. What I'm actually getting for you, Tammy, is the chameleon. Okay, I got the chameleon. And again, exactly what this card says: camouflage, adaptation, clairvoyance. Sit back, watch, blend in, listen. Many times, if we will shut up and listen and pay attention, the world will tell you what it's intending to do, and you could be ready for it. Don't have to just be shaking the trees all the time. So this is it. Be extra sensitive is what I'm seeing for you right now. And be aware you've got something you're trying to do. Some things are trying to go. Don't worry about other people. What do you got there? The
Well,
hawk.
that's interesting because when I started stepping into your energy, Tammy, and you are, oh my God, your energy is so beautiful. It is so loving. It is so open. You're such an empath and you are such a compassionate person. I psychically, instantly, I knew that immediately. Hey, Kim, how are you? I knew that you were going through a period in your life where you're really trying to step into, sit in the seat of your own power. That you are finding it really important to be a powerful person, a person that other people don't use as a doormat, maybe even take a little more seriously. Although you're so smart, oh my God, you're so smart, and I feel like that's been a thing for you. You just really haven't. You just haven't trusted or believed how smart you really are. And we just talked about hawk. We just talked about how the hawk is, it's an apex predator in its realm. But let's face it, it's a bird. I mean, it's very fragile. So I think this is you all day, every day, which it totally relates to the chameleon, because the chameleon is about changing colors, which, by the way, let me tell you, people think it's the skin of the chameleon that changes color. It's not. They have millions and millions of little crystals all over their body, and they can manipulate the color of those crystals with their body temperature. And so that's a call for you to understand that you can still stay sparkly and beautiful, but you can be a hawk at the same time. So there you go.
Absolutely. And the hawk soars up high. It observes. The chameleon, it observes. That's why I'm telling you that observation thing. Something in this for you right now. You really need to listen. Be quiet and observe. Use the view of the hawk, the senses, all your senses. There's something coming for you, and it's going to be really good. Christina, I'm going to be singing Baby Shark to her all day long. There you go. Kim, Bernadette, thank you for the decks that you sent for my Tarot Tuesday group. Everyone was thrilled.
I'm so glad.
Good. Good morning. Can you see any connection with Lumeria and myself? What I'm getting yes, and that's where we're at. The penguin. Go ahead. Go ahead with the penguin, Bernadette, and I'll go into a card. But my belief is Lumeria, we can be connected to anything we want to be connected to. So can you see my connection with Lumeria and myself? So go ahead.
Well, again, yeah, I believe that's true also. We can be connected to anything we want to be connected with. I get a sense that really what you're asking is, do you have a connection in the past with Lumeria? And having the Three of Cups come up, which is all about, celebration and, raising your cups together. I absolutely do. What I will say is that I do believe you're being called to take that connection more seriously. There's something about that past life there that is, if you would just step into that, it would really help you a lot in this life, because I feel like you keep banging your head up against a brick wall. And it's only because I don't know that you're totally seated in this world. This is a really tough world to navigate. This reality is no joke. And so if you would step into that more fully and call forth your more ancient self, I think you might have a better way to navigate through this world. And go ahead.
No, and that's what I'm getting from the snail here is, remember, home is where the heart is. It's not a thing it's with you. You've got that connection. Don't keep looking at it as another time. That it's there within you right now. And I think that's what I was trying to get at, is we can all be connected to anything. But if this is you're actually feeling, were you part of Lumeria? Definitely. And the message I'm getting is, remember, you still are. You carry that with you every day. It's part of you. Make sure you're using your shell as the way you're supposed to be, and things are going to get much easier for you. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me, but also, there's this whole, scientists disprove Lumeria, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Just because they did now doesn't mean that it didn't exist, or they knew, or it doesn't mean anything to me. But this is a sea creature, and Lumeria sank beneath the sea. Remember that. And so I think this might be a good one for you to take a look at. I'm not so much drawn to see with my cards, you can attach to the energy of the animal and the tarot card that it is, or you can ignore the tarot cards completely and just attach to the animal, or vice versa. I'm not so much drawn to the penguins as I am the traditional meaning of that card, and that the penguins are sea creatures. I hope that helps.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's excellent. Debbie put back in here. No, I'm not challenging y'all. Just curious. And that's what we're saying. If you want to know about what your energy is energy. Okay, it's either positive or it's negative. So whatever you're exuding is what it is, and wherever you're facing your concentration, that is what it is. We talked about spells and spelling and different things. So wherever you're focusing, that's your energy. It's not anything or whatnot. Now, if you're wanting to know about the about a spirit animal or something like that, we'll be glad to pull a card and see what your spirit animal is, okay, and what's speaking right now. So, Debbie, that's what I'm going to do that for you right now. Let's pull a card. I want to see what Debbie. I'm going to ask everything. I take a minute. A lot of times in getting through this, I got to take a minute and let everything resettle, and I got to get my vibes back, and here they come. So, Debbie,
watch out, here they come.
Yeah, I feel it. They come over me like a warm wave. I keep trying to tell people you feel them, and once you get that connection, you actually feel that presence. You can feel the presence, and I'm glad you brought up, and Debbie, I haven't forgotten you. I'm getting retuned, okay? I'm glad you brought up what we call mythical creatures. Again, twofold. Get your magic back. Think like that. We had talked probably about a month ago about dragons and people having their own dragon, things like that. You're like, well, that's ridiculous. Man, I just got a whole whoosh through me. And that is important to understand. The spirit is magic if you think about it. It's something intangible. It's something you can't touch. It's something you totally have to put your belief in. That's magic. All right. I don't care what you think it is. It's magic. So, Debbie, what I'm getting for you here real quick, we're going to go here. And all right. Bridget, hold on to your shorts. It's the dragonfly. Okay. And it is the 8 of Wands. All right. So what I'm seeing here for you is a lot of movement coming on. There is something you are very passionate about, something you're trying to get done. And according to Bernadette, optimum speed, standing still. So I'd be interested to see what you pull for Debbie. But the dragonfly, it's always moving, things like that. Something's happening for you, but there are times that you have to sit down and rest and pay attention to your environment so you can really receive everything that's going on. Bernadette?
I'm really drawn actually to what you pulled, but I'm drawn to the 8 of Wands part about it.
Okay.
And there's the traditional meaning. The element is fire, and the whole point of it is to have hope, but make haste towards your hope.
Right.
And the Kabbalists call the card the Lord of Swiftness. And I feel like that's been a challenge for you, Debbie, for a long time, is that you want to move forward, but you keep hitting. It's not even that you hit brick walls. You just stop right where you stand. You just stop.
Yes.
And if I may, there's been a lot of, well, this is why this happened, and this is why there's always a reason why it's not happening for you. But it's really important, especially with the 8 of Wands, that you turn that blame game inward and say, okay, what is it in me? If you go through one or two things in your life and you can't get where you want to go, that could be for a lot of reasons. But when it happens over and over again, the variable, there are no variables you're not a variable any longer. You're a constant. And if you're constantly having that, and I just feel like it comes from, some people just have a lack of motivation and they beat themselves up for it. And I'm always like, why? Why do you beat yourself? Maybe you're not meant to, burn up the world, or you're only meant to do this and do this. It's not a smaller thing that you're meant to do. There's nothing less important about what you're meant to do. But I just feel like you're feeling that you haven't achieved in life. And I would counter with, you absolutely have. And it would really help you if you could get some of that self-love going and realize that whatever you want to do, you can do. Well, there you have it. You just answered the question because you're so sensitive. So listen, I understand that. I mean, I'm a triple Scorpio, and we can be dragons, but that's what makes me one of the things that makes me a really tapped in evidential medium is the sensitivity. And I understand crying easily. I hardly ever go on Facebook anymore other than my lives, because lots of people who follow me, lots of people who are friends with me on Facebook, they share inspirational stories about animals that have been abused but then saved. I understand they've been saved, but I can't see those pictures. It will cause me nightmares. I will really have night terrors. I will bawl my eyes out. It'll ruin my day. So I do my work for animals separate of having to see that. I'm aware of it, but I just can't have it in my face. So I get it. But
I keep telling people, stop waking up, even in the thought of doing good, and you're unknowingly surrounding yourself with negativity, and it brings you down. It brings you, saving animals there's not much more of a nobler cause. Saving children, but if this is all you think about and all you do, and you find out by watching this stuff, and you're constantly immersed in that aspect, it's being used to lower your frequency, to lower your energy. And it's bringing you down.
Right.
Step away.
If I may, Debbie asked the question, why are you so sensitive? And I would suggest to you that potentially, if you looked into a thing called sacred contracts, that's the idea that we all meet on the other side. Good morning, Lisa. That we all meet on the other side and decide what we need to learn and grow with in this lifetime, and who we're gonna do that dance with. So if you ascribe to that belief, you chose to come in this sensitive. So maybe instead of dwelling on the negativity of that, why don't you ask what your sacred mission is? Because those of us that come in that are super sensitive, we're on a definite sacred mission, and it will turn your life around the minute you figure out what that is. You'll be able to use your sensitivity in a very positive way, and you won't feel like you're at a standstill always in your life. So I hope that's helpful. Hey, Lisa, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so glad they've been helpful. Let's see.
Yeah, and also real quick, while you're looking and going there, what was the name of your YouTube channel again?
My Spirit Animal. Ooh, Lisa, girl.
Whoa.
Girl, you got the Black Panther, the Queen of Wands. Oh my goodness. Fierce. Okay, this is like, I got goosebumps. This is lighting me up. Okay, so interesting. I feel like you have a business that you're starting or want to start, like you're stepping into entrepreneurship. And you are on such the right track, you don't even know. And I feel like Panther, a female Panther in particular, is going to be with you through this whole trip, because you do know your sacred mission, and you are on your sacred mission. And oh my gosh, you're fierce and good at it, like really, really, really good. It's going to be like you're going to look around one day and go, wasn't that hard? This wasn't that hard. And you're going to make more money than you think. I feel like you're really good at holy cow. I feel like you're really good at manifesting money and manifesting abundance, and you're very open to wealth. And I'm not telling you you're going to get super rich, right? I'm not telling you that, but there is the potential in what you're doing to make bigger money, way bigger money. And you won't even need to keep that in your mind. It's just going to come as a natural byproduct of what you're creating. So Black Panther is working with you. Queen of Wands is working with you. And man, I'd love to know what your business is, because it's quite something. I'm being told from Spirit it is quite something. So I hope that helps.
I know a
Oh,
little bit about
she got
Lisa.
dragonfly too.
And she got the dragonfly. So, and that, spot on. So, again, your YouTube channel, what is the name of it?
My spirit animal.
Okay. My
So
spirit animal. All
can
right.
I send you the link, Rob, and you could just plop the link in?
Sure.
Okay, that'd be great. That'd be very helpful.
Absolutely. You putting it in Messenger?
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Let me get over here real quick, get that cranked up. We'll get that put in there. Also, we need to make sure too that everybody's checking out her book. It's still on Kickstarter, right?
It is.
All right.
Well, it launches on April 1st, and my goal this time is to raise $100,000.
Okay.
And I've pledged $5,000 of the profits to a number of animal charities that work to prevent cruelty to animals. So
okay. All right. I'm trying to get the link up here. Let me start here.
I'm trying to navigate Facebook.
Yeah, me too.
There we go, Rob.
There we go.
Thank you for sharing.
I'm going to bring this up.
And do you do daily readings on your YouTube channel, Rob?
I try to when I have time. I'm a therapist by trade, so I'm starting in the morning, and when I get done here, I'm headed to Orlando. Then I'm coming back to go to Merritt Island and Vieira. So yes, I stay busy all the time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that link. I'm going to post it right here in our chat. Yeah. So boom, that should post that right there in the links. So there we go, folks. I just posted it. Should be popping up in here somewhere. Scroll to the bottom, and you will see I posted that link in the chats. There we go. It's under Tarot with an Attitude, and that is an active link. So down at the bottom, you can find it there. And I put it on all 4 channels. So we'll be able to get there. Also, I want to go back over here to, I want to show y'all, remind you again, what we're about Bernadette's book. Here we go. Let me get that up. I had some things closed down. Spirit, Totem, and Power Animals, the complete book of animal spirit guides. Go to Kickstarter. Check it out. Okay? It will be huge for you, especially as much interest as I'm seeing that people really have and the attraction to understanding your spirit animals. Knowledge is power. Okay? And with this book, you could almost use it like a monstrous daily guide to your spirit animal, to your power animal. What do you need to do? Just concentrate with the book, open it up, and let her fly. Let spirit and things speak to you. So I honestly believe that's what's going on. Bernadette, this has been just, I love it. I would like to make arrangements for you and I to do this again sometime.
My honor.
So we can do the show. We can talk to people. I think people enjoy it, especially with us going back and forth together. Different things. I love how we bounce off each other. It's great energy. So that's what's going on, folks. We're at that time. So I'm going to put the reminders up. Remember, you can reach me, tarotwithanattitude.com. Reach out there, send questions, book a session, find out what's going on. There's gift certificates, everything else. All right. Also, Tarot with an Attitude, the Facebook group. I do put daily readings in there. They just haven't been so daily lately. Everybody knows I'm in the process. We sold a house. Now we're buying a house. Wow. It's all in between. I've got 3 different gigs going. I'm busy. Okay. But it's a good busy. I love it. Things are good. Also, the coffee I've been drinking all morning, Hemp Works. My hemp works. I didn't bother y'all with it too much today, but go check it out. This stuff has helped me lose weight. It has helped me become more self-aware. You see me with my arms. Yeah, some of those old man aches and pains. I have not had to go get the cortisone shots in my shoulders. CBD. Wow. I love it. Okay. Very all cool. Natural. So remember, My Spirit Animals My Spirit Guides is your YouTube, right? My Spirit Animal. My Spirit. I was right the first time. Holy crap. Okay. My Spirit Animal, and check for the book on Kickstarter. And Bernadette, thank you so much for being here and being a part. I genuinely appreciate it. I love your work. And so with that being said, folks, remember, Take what you want, leave what you don't. It's okay. All right. But bangarang, find the magic in your life somewhere, somehow, some way. Put on your wings and fly. We are meant to soar, not be walking through this life like paupers. We are meant to dominate. That is why we are here. You have these gifts all at your availability. Make sure that you're attaching to them. And with that being said, peace, love, and light, everybody. Everybody take care.